Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry for the late start. My name is Mary Prentice. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the Student Engagement and First Year Experience Coordinator here at Lewis and Clark College. I have the privilege of working with Gabby, our Student Director, First Year Experience. If you're attending this webinar as an incoming first year, Gabby is the one that you've been getting texts from. Yeah, as an office, we are so excited to welcome you today and to Lewis and Clark College in the fall. This is a webinar in a series of webinars, so if you need to leave early or don't worry, we do post recordings of this webinar and the other ones that have happened on our website. Today's guests are here to help talk about the important financial aspects of coming here for your first year. So joining us are the Offices of Student Accounts and Financial Aid, and we're going to learn about some online billing, authorized party enrollment, settling your student account. And there will be time for some questions at the end. Yeah, joining us today, we have Anastasia Dillon, the Associate Vice President of the Financial Aid Office. We also have Katie McQueen, the Student Accounts Specialist. We also have Carrie Barnes, the Director of Student and Departmental Account Services, and Jordan Latt, who is our Student Employment Coordinator. Thank you so much for joining us all. We will get started.
The financial aid office. Many of you have already worked with us over the course of the spring and the late fall to apply for financial aid, receive your financial aid award. And if we could go to the next slide, please. So this is just a little bit of an overview of what the financial aid office does is we process the aid for our incoming students, but also as you're going into your sophomore year, junior year, senior year at Lewis and Clark, you'll also be working with our office. At this point in the year, what we're working with most on students is processing their student loans and then helping their financial aid funds go over onto their student account that Carrie will be talking about. And so I did just want to give you just a couple quick points about how to process your loans. In the financial aid self-service portal, you will have access to take a look at your financial aid offer and tell us what it is you'd like to accept. You do not need to accept any of your grants and scholarships. That's free money. We assume that you would want that. But we don't make the same assumption with your student loans. So if you would like to borrow your student loan, part or all of your student loan, you will need to accept your student loan. And then there's a second step to that, and that is to log on to the studentaid.gov account and complete your master promissory note and the loan entrance counseling. The loan entrance counseling is just a quick session that you go through that gives you information about the rights and responsibilities as a student loan borrower. So if you can go ahead and do those steps, we would love to have that done by the beginning part of July so that that's all taken care of. We can do our part of the student loan process, and the funding will be here when you're ready to start in the fall semester. But do know, as you're looking at student loans, you don't have to accept the full amount of the loan. If you'd like to borrow only a portion of what we've offered you, then you can accept a portion, you can accept a lower amount, or you can decline the loans altogether. It's really up to you on the student loans. Okay.
Hi guys, thanks for attending. I'm Jordan, as Mary stated, with student employment. We're in human resources and kind of segueing from the financial aid piece, talking about what kind of awards we have, how that plays a factor into the types of student employment and campus jobs that we have available and eligible for. So I just want to confirm it sounds like the checking the awards has moved to self-service. Is that right, Anastasia?
Yes, all of the awards are on self-service. You've probably looked at your award through our LC portal, which is through our admissions office. That's probably how you've been accessing your financial aid award up to now, but it is all available in the financial aid self-service.
Awesome. So for student employment, we've got a main portal that we do all of our hires through. This is also where you're going to do payroll, which is once a month, and that's through Workday. And we have a active jobs postings. Basically, all of the jobs postings go through me. I also have a counterpart, Nina, who wasn't able to attend today. But yeah, I'm going to be primarily the point of contact for all things job postings, applications related and within Workday. And then based on that, you can use your work study awards to figure out and filter down to what kind of roles are going to be available to you. So within the student employment page, if you literally just do a search in the top URL box for jobs board, it'll take you to a set of links for either external or internal student candidates. And what that basically means is internal if you already hold a position on campus within the Workday system, and then external if this would be your first time holding a position on campus. So that's what all that means. And then once we have positions on campus, we've definitely made like a big push to um, have our students excelling in some kind of career competencies. That way, we're taking those skill sets within our positions on campus and then applying them into real world job search situations. So I did include a couple helpful tips and also a link for the career competencies. Thanks for throwing that in the chat on how to like kind of apply these things. And then also kind of like while you're doing your job search on the board, being conscious of like sometimes it'll have messaging like meant for students that are studying a specific major or program. So just be kind of aware of those things, or if they're work study only positions, and then also be conscious of what the expected availability is needed for that in that role. If you already have your class schedules kind of mapped out, while also allowing yourself enough time to like go to lunch and we'll talk about meal breaks and stuff like that too. Okay, cool. So, NACE competencies isn't a new thing, but it is something that we've like kind of recently implemented within all of our student job descriptions. So I did want to play a little blurb video for y'all. It's just about 90 seconds to kind of explain how that works. Oh, we might not have audio right now. Sorry about that. If we don't have audio, I can kind of quickly run through it. It's fine.
Sorry, I don't think we have audio for this video.
Okay. All good. Yeah. Basically, NACE is a platform or organization that has identified kind of like the 8 most useful tools or skill sets that employers are looking for in candidates. So we try to have our student supervisors conscious of what sort of core competencies that have been identified are most applicable to those roles. And then we can also have our students following up, whether it be their 30-day check-in, their 90-day, or at the end of their assignment on like how they've excelled and specifically which projects they've utilized one of these career skill sets in. That way they can then take those experiences and tie it back to a resume or an applicable outside work experience. So the video is just basically explaining where those kind of skills originate from and how students can utilize those to make meaningful experiences. Thanks. With that, I also included some like some useful resources. When students are on campus for the first time, genuinely, they don't know that they have to bring government issued documents in order to complete their I-9 verifications. So I included a link for that. And basically, that's going to look like the form of a List A document, whether that be like a US passport, or if you don't have that, then like an ID that's accompanied with either like a social security card or a birth certificate. You're going to want to have the physical documents on campus to do those rather than like a copy or like a scan of those. So that is something to be conscious of. But if you do need to get like additional copies of those, you can also like go to your local DHS office and request them. That way you're not so having to be weary about having like your one copy of the birth certificate gonna be on campus, type of thing. So every state's kind of different, but like you can look into that beforehand on like how to get additional documents for those. And then also super useful tool that we have on campus is through the Career Center. And we have Career Center advisors that can kind of help walk, especially like freshmen, through building their resumes the first time, because a lot of the times that experience isn't going to be, they're not really, don't really know how to utilize like how my dog sitting experience ties to like my resume. So you can book an appointment with them. And then also I found like the Clifton Strengths Finders and other online strength finders have been very helpful for that when it comes to being able to identify what your learning style is and like what your strengths are, and then using that as like applicable experience on your resume. And then in the state of Oregon, um, we have our own set of BOLI breaks. I don't remember exactly what the acronym's for, but most of the student positions are going to be part-time. So you're not going to come up against the two rest breaks in a meal break. But what that's basically saying is um, the meal break is a 30-minute time where you're supposed to be clocking out from a shift versus the 10-minute rest breaks, which are um, earned time that you don't have to clock out for. But we don't really have like a punch in, punch out payroll system. You're just putting in the overall time that you worked for that day. So that's just a good guideline to keep in mind. That's it for me.
Hi again, I'm Carrie Barnes from Student Accounts, and I'm going to be presenting everyone with a video so that you have more of a visual of how to navigate to get to the student account, as well as how to get to the health insurance waiver and some of the other more important pieces for navigating for tasks that you need to complete for student accounts pieces. And also so that you can get a snapshot of those important due dates that you want to make note of. So if you want to go ahead and click on the video, Mary.
Hello everyone, and welcome to Lewis and Clark College. My name is Carrie Barnes, Director of Student Accounts. During this presentation, you will be introduced to Student Accounts staff members, provided with some important due dates. I will share with you how you can access the Student Account Center, show you where you can complete the health insurance waiver, and lastly, I'll share with you the final deadline for students to make sure their account balances are settled in order to avoid a registration hold. Our office can be reached at accountservices@lclark.edu. Jolie Allen and Katie McMean are our two representatives managing student accounts. Jolie is the designated contact for students with the last names A through L. Katie assists students with the last names of M through Z. Some important dates to remember are the fall 2026 costs payment deadline of August 10, 2026. The last day to waive the student health insurance for the academic year is September 14th. The last day to waive the green energy and media fee is also September 14th. If you are on a payment plan for the fall semester, you'll want to remember November 10th is the last payment for the fall payment plan. And looking ahead, the payment deadline for the spring 2027 semester will be December 10th. Student account information is accessible through the Student Account Center. When a student logs into self-service, they navigate to Student Finance, and under the Student Finance tab, click the Student Account Center to be directed to the Student Account Center platform. Here, you'll see a summary view of your account details that will display the total amount due after any pending financial aid and sections that allow you to manage your account. At the top is a bell that, when clicked on, provides important notifications, as well as the contact information for Nelnet, our third-party service provider for the Student Account Center. Under your profile information section, you'll see where you can add Authorized Party access for a parent or guardian by clicking on Add Authorized Party. In this invite screen, you will enter your parent's, guardian, or the responsible party of your account that you wish to provide access to your account details. Once you submit this information, the person you want to have shared access will receive an invite to the Student Account Center and be asked to create credentials of their own to access your student account information. I encourage you to establish access early, as we will be unable to speak with any other party than you about your account information if shared access is not given. From the Student Account Center, you are also able to view details of your account activity by clicking on Transaction Details next to the balance at the top. This provides a live breakdown of current activity on your student account that can be sorted by date, term, description, or amount. If you click on Estimated Aid under Current Activity, you'll be able to detail into the financial aid information. Here you will see fully processed estimated financial aid. This is the financial aid that has not posted to the student account yet, but is ready to post once we begin processing. Should anticipated financial aid not appear in estimated aid, this may be an indication that there is still action required for the aid to fully process. Should you have any questions about the unprocessed financial aid, you should contact the Financial Aid Office at fao@lclark.edu. Students also receive a monthly e-bill notification emailed to them that directs them to log into the Student Account Center and click on View Current Statement. This provides you a snapshot of your student account activity at the time the printable PDF was created. If you have provided authorized party access to another party and they have created their credentials for the Student Account Center, they will also get an email when a monthly e-bill is available for view. Please remember, this is only a snapshot in time. You can always see the most current information by clicking on the account activity. Students wishing to pay for their tuition and fees over the course of the semester have the option of a 5-month payment plan through Nelnet. This plan has a $40 setup fee, but there is no interest charge for this plan. In order to enroll in a payment plan through Nelnet, you will need a U.S. bank account. The fall plan started on July 10th and ends on November 10th. Other payment options are to pay in full via credit or debit cards that are subject to a 2.75% convenience fee, or pay using a checking or savings account, which does not have an associated fee, or remitting payment via Flywire for international funds transfers. The last section to review within the Student Account Center is establishing your refund preference. To establish direct deposit, you'll need to provide your personal banking information. This will allow direct payment into your personal bank account if you are eligible for a refund. If direct deposit is not established, a refund check will be mailed to your preferred address on record with the college. Next, I'll share with you the website for waiving the student health insurance. Students who have comparable health insurance of their own may waive from participation in the LLC-sponsored student health insurance through the link provided on this slide. Students are provided one opportunity a year to waive coverage for the full academic year. The recommended waiver deadline to avoid a charge on your first bill is June 29. The final waiver deadline is September 14, 2026 to avoid enrollment and the associated costs for the school-sponsored student health insurance program for the 2026-27 academic year. Please be sure to note all account balances must be paid in full, covered by fully processed financial aid, or have a payment plan established by August 28 to avoid having a registration hold placed on the account August 31st, the first day of the semester. I understand this is a lot of information, so please reach out to our office if you have any questions or need additional guidance. Thank you for your time, and we wish you a fantastic semester.
It looks like that is our presentation for you all today. Thank you so much for joining us. It looks like we have a question in the chat. Jordan's typing an answer, but can we also have an answer live? The student's asking if we will provide info about how students who do not have work study can apply for an on-campus job.
Yeah, thanks. I was actually just typing my response back into the chat there. So students without a work study award are more than welcome to apply. I will also shoot over the external jobs posting link so you guys can see everything that's posted in there currently. But you can actually filter it down to positions that are no work study required, which is helpful. Actually, I mean, can I just share my screen? How about that? It's probably easier. And then give like an example. Okay, yeah, that'd be great. Okay, just give me a thumbs up when you can see my screen, I guess. No, ignore all my tabs. Um, so yeah, like I have 12 positions posted currently. So like if I were somebody who did not have a work study amount, then under student, it should show the ones that are work study required. So you can even just do like a keyword for non-work study in the search bar, and it should filter out some of those. That's what I kind of meant about like filtering down the ones that are relevant, and then for example, game day. So they are chronological order, right? So like the most recent ones should be posted at the top. And if you go to like the job description, like this one, our work study preferred, but it's not required. So just be like aware of those. And then sometimes they'll have specific messaging, like maybe we have a lot of camps going on this summer, so that's why there's camp coach positions posted. Like must be contacted directly to apply. Just be like aware of that type of verbiage. It's usually at the top, or like must be a current bio student or have completed XYZ class in order to be a TA. But yeah, still more than welcome to apply those positions, and that's where you would find those.
Thank you so much, Jordan. Another common question that we get from students is when do you recommend that students apply for jobs?
Yeah, that's a great question too. And I know that like coming in, a lot of students are apprehensive to like apply to the food court or like doing something in facilities. But I would say as soon as you have your class schedule figured out, I would start applying to positions because you're not necessarily going to get an offer that same week. And usually what happens is they get kind of picky. They don't apply until halfway through the fall term. And then by that time, a lot of the positions or the departments on campus have already filled up their rosters. So the sooner they can kind of get ahead of that and start applying to positions, getting the repetitions of getting those interviews in, the likelihood of them getting a position on campus is going to be exponentially higher. And then also, even if you don't want to work at the Bon Appetit, which is our food court, it's always easier to get an offer in place and then tell them, hey, I'm still thinking about this. I'm waiting to hear back from XYZ department rather than waiting to apply to the bone later on and then they're already full for the shifts that you're available. So I would say as soon as you kind of have a grasp of your class schedule and what kind of capacity you have mentally with like studies and whatnot, start applying for jobs.
Okay. I do want to add on just a little bit to what Jordan was saying, in that some students will choose to not work their first semester. And the way that if you have a financial aid award that includes federal work study or Lewis and Clark work study, that's an amount that you can earn over the course of the year. And if you choose not to work your first semester, it doesn't mean that you can't earn the amount, kind of the fall semester half of that. You can earn however, you can earn that amount, up to that amount, over the course of the year, kind of however you do that, whether you're working a lot in one semester and not in another semester. And that is totally fine. We know a lot of our student athletes prefer not to have a work study job kind of on top of all of the time commitments. And, other students have a particularly heavy course schedule one semester or the other. And so that is totally fine. You can kind of use your work study funding kind of over the semester. It's not just tied to one semester. And if you didn't earn it in that semester, it doesn't just go away.
Could you share what time and date is the financial aid open for those who are interested in calling you or asking questions? What would be some of the best times to contact?
Yeah, so we're open in person between 11 and 3, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday. We're working on student files, but we are available. The best way to contact us is by email, and that's FAO, so Financial Aid Office at lclark.edu. That's the way that most students and families interact with our office, and it's the best way that we can kind of get back quickly to folks. I know a lot of folks are not here on campus during the summer, but if you are, certainly stop by and say hello. If you have any questions, we're happy to answer them. But generally speaking, we're open 11 to 3 on those days except Wednesday.
Perfect. It looks like we don't have any other questions in the chat. Again, you can always email any of our offices and we'd be happy to get back to you or connect you to the right people on campus who can answer your questions. We're so excited to welcome you all in the fall, and thank you so much for joining us. Have a nice day.
Thanks. Have a good one.